Hey everyone. So lately I've been trying out a whole new kind of game, which is Fortress Battles PvP style. Me and a friend of mine, we actually sat down and just decided, hey, this would be a lot of fun. Nobody ever does it. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen any one person do it on YouTube. So, um, it's a bit of a trial and error kind of thing. Needless to say, it's very much outside the range of how most people play, including myself. I've only ever done it with AI. I've never done it with a human player before. So it's an interesting way of playing. I mean, I've done it, but never seriously. And this time I wanted to actually take it seriously enough to, compete and make a good recording out of it. So, that being said, I've made a couple of recordings, and you'll see a couple of them here drop within the next maybe week or so. I've done 4 different games, and I wanted to share each of them a little separately in parts. So, in case you're a little confused as to what kind of games these are, yes, they are Fortress Battle PvPs, but the titles are going to say testing. And what that means is that my friend and I are basically just trying to figure out what the best balance for Fortress Battle PvP style is, since it's just not a thing that's out there. So how do you really balance out an asymmetrical kind of game like a Fortress Battle where you've got 2, 3, and sometimes even 4 players against one person in a fortress? That's very different. So we're trying to do this in our own way. We're not pro gamers or anything like that. We've never made a game or a mod or anything. We're just, a couple of guys having fun. But at the same time, we really love fortress maps. And I personally would love to find more people to play this with and compete with. I only have one person, really maybe 2, that I'd be able to do this with. And that's about it. And that's just not as much to really practice and get a good feel for Fortress Battle PvP style. So I'm officially making a call out there for anyone who is interested in actually doing this. And I could arrange something with you on Game Ranger. That's what works for me. And I'd love to just be able to sit down and hash it out. In a civilized manner, of course. It goes without saying. Some of these people, they get really caught up in all of this stuff, and it's just not for me, but I really want to still have fun. And this is kind of what my friend and I were doing. We're just kind of having fun while also kind of sticking it to each other in a somewhat serious way to try to figure it out. So you'll see in the next few days. Let's just start with today. You're going to see the Kingdom of Erebor, which is a 2v1 map, all about, it's 2 players on 1 person in the Kingdom of Erebor Lonely Mountain map. And also you'll see later on after that the Dwarf Hold, which is an amazing 3v1 fortress battle. And then after that I'll do 2 bonus episodes in one, which is at the Fortress of Wolfborg, which is the capital of the Dunlendings that was included for Age of the Ring to expand on their little sub-faction they added for the Isengard faction of the Dunlendings. A little two-parter in one, essentially, for that one. That'll release as a bonus episode because they were kind of short, but they're still kind of fun and they're very insightful. So that's what you'll see, in case you're a little confused, not understanding for sure what it meant to be testing games. That's what it is. One thing to keep in mind when you're watching this battle is that my spellbook powers don't get used as frequently as I would have liked. To be perfectly honest, it's one of those fights where I was kind of a little too involved in the conversation. I'll have to keep that in mind next time. But so the spellbook powers aren't used as frequently as normal for a couple of different reasons. One of which, he's just, rocking my world an awful lot with the dwarves that I don't get in as much opportunity to gain spellbook power points as he does. Though he's using them quite a bit more than me, obviously, as you'll see. But the other thing, though, is that a lot of times I've wondered how it would be to actually do a more traditional kind of siege and not use a whole lot of PowerPoints. I've toyed with this idea a bit, so there's a few reasons there. It makes for an interesting game for sure. So I hope you enjoy, and if you have any insights, please be sure to let me know. And again, if you want to try to get something going, I'd love to arrange that. And you can email me. My email is available on the home page, or just shoot me a message in the comments, whatever you want to do. All right. Well, I hope you enjoy, and don't worry about it being too formal or anything like that. Again, these games are not overly competitive. It's just trying to figure stuff out to get to a point where we can figure out the balance for something so asymmetrical. And things have been hashed out, like maybe using handicaps, just so you're aware. I'd like to try to use handicaps because I think an asymmetrical game like this requires more asymmetrical tactics, if you will. Some people think that that's just cheesing it. Some people think it's just overall cheap. I'm not so convinced, but I'd love to hear some thoughts and to get some opinions on all of that, and maybe even use some modding. Some of these maps do need to be changed up a little bit, and you'll see why, in particular for the Dwarf Hold Fortress, in regards to how you can place spells, or summons, and all that. And maybe even some other things that need to be changed. I'm not too sure just yet. But in any case, I'm always open to suggestions and opinions, whatever your thoughts are. And I hope you guys enjoy. Thanks. One thing to note here before the game finally begins, I wanted to show that I am using a peasant ally for my for myself here, in part because in previous testing games that we had done, some of the higher difficulties turned out to be a little too insane. Again, just trying to figure out balance right from the get-go here. It turns out the peasant is not a very good option because it just doesn't really do anything. Whereas certain other factions that we played, like Rivendell on even soldier difficulty, turned out to be absolutely insane. So I think it might be on a what do you call it, a faction-to-faction kind of basis. And I think this is where handicaps would come into play a bit better. So I wanted to be perfectly straightforward and honest right up front here as to what kind of a ally I have in this fight. It's not usual, I understand, but not trying to pull the wool over anyone's eyes either here.
Both joy and sorrow.
This is one of the coolest maps I've ever seen. It's so well designed, and for the fortress player that whoever's in the fortress there, they get a huge advantage. For anyone who's not already familiar with this map, the amount of sight alone that the fortress player gets is absolutely incredible. They get all of that area in the middle that you just saw where the city of Dale is, and also, of course, all of the fortress itself, which takes up like a quarter of the map.
The melon tree has grown.
So, and then there's this little section down in the bottom left, or towards the bottom left, where it's like this little walled-in outpost of the dwarves. It gives the player there a nice little spot to camp out over a main passageway. And you'll see that happen over time here in about 5 or 10 minutes as I try to make my way up to his fortress. It it doesn't work out as well as I was hoping to. It gives him a very significant height bonus. And for anyone who's not already familiar with terrain height bonuses, I would highly recommend that you check out a video that I made on this, part of a playlist on the attribute modifier series I did a while back, where I analyze some of the mechanics of the game, and one of them is the height bonus. I go into great detail on that, actually. It's kind of a, I don't know, it's almost like a mythic thing in and of itself. Does it really exist? Is it really a part of the game or not? Yeah, actually it is. And I highly recommend that you go check that out. It's a little used feature, but comes in handy, and you'll see it used in this battle, actually, by my friend in the fortress. You gotta love this AI ally stuff, where they just rush out to their detriment. I'm hoping that maybe somewhere along the line, for fortress maps in specific, that maybe someone can come along and figure out how to better improve the AI, so that way they, they just perform smarter. I mean, I know that there's only so much that can be done in terms of, 20, 25-year-old AI. It's a little bit of a shame, but I mean, it is what it is. They have done a lot, though, these developers for the Age of the Ring mod. I can't believe how much they've improved upon it, including for fortress maps. There used to be a time in which the AI was so dumb that didn't even know to close its gates when you were getting close to entering, and it, of course, makes sure to close its gates now. But yeah, just maybe someone out there who actually really, really cares to make the AI all that it can be for fortress maps in particular, and maybe figuring out how to have it set up sieges properly and defend its trebuchets, catapults, all that. I don't know if that's possible or not. I'm not a modder. I'm not a coder or anything like that. I'm just a guy. I just enjoy these. I got a life. I got a family I'm raising and all that. I just, don't have the time. I don't have the interest or the patience for all that. But I like making videos. I like going into the modding scene a little bit here and there. Not too much. But I mean, for people who are really deep into it, I just hope that they can... Hope that there's a way to do it, is what I'm trying to say. Sorry if I'm rambling here. But, yeah, so something that we were trying to figure out in all of this as well was, you gotta kind of be patient to build up your force, because he's got a lot of CP available right off the get-go. In fact, I think he's got 1,000 right off the get-go. So he, and then on top of that, he's able to build up his forces extremely quick, because he has a lot of build plots in his base ready to go at a moment's notice, where he can just pop, all of these mines. In his case, he's airborne, and he can get resources so incredibly fast that he's able to get up a force and upgrade it at that, all of these elite units and all that. So it's like you can't rush it the way that you would like to, or you might be used to in a skirmish. I'm trying to rush it as fast as I can here by getting my Ents to break down his gates, of course. But, it's just one of those things where if you're not used to it, it takes a while to really get accustomed to this slower pace. And so it seems a little slow right now, and in fact it is. But, I can only do so much with the money that I have. I have to put out, my beginning game units, but you'll see him come out with a bit more advanced units. So, I don't know how it really works with more than one player against a player in a fortress any more than maybe a lot of other people out there do. Like I had mentioned in the intro, I don't think I've ever seen even one person out there on YouTube, do anything like this, which is a shame, honestly. It's such a incredible game mode that I'd love to see these kinks worked out. So, calls out there for anyone, like I said in the intro.
Our mighty fortress grows.
One thing I was not completely aware of, or I had forgotten, I should say. I just completely forgotten altogether. For Lothlorien, they don't even have to use their Ents to to overcome the walls of the enemy. For those who don't really use the special teleportation powers too much, like myself, that's why I forgot. But Haldir, highly recommend Haldir. I remembered him after the fact, and boy, how he would have helped a lot if I could have kept him alive long enough to get him leveled up enough. Wow, I would have had a lot easier of a time harassing him, because for anyone who doesn't know, Haldir has the teleportation power. It's a power maybe many people don't know about, because it was originally for only custom heroes, from what I remember from back in the vanilla days. Only the create a hero or custom hero wizards had this special power where you could take a group of your units and teleport them to anywhere on the map. It's a crazy power. They have modified it a little bit for the main Lothlorien hero Haldir, where he has to be in range of the units, and it's a very small range, by the way, and a very small diameter of units that you can include in the power. So it's not like you can get a whole army in the enemy base, at least as far as I know. I've never really used it a whole lot, but in any case, he has to be very close to the troops, and then he can plant them anywhere within the cloud, or excuse me, not the cloud, the vision radius that you see on the map, which is a very powerful ability. He can't teleport himself, but all the same, I mean, if I would have remembered to do that, I wouldn't have been trying to take the time to to do this. There's a secret entrance that's the secret door for anyone who knows the Hobbit very well, which you should, but for anyone who knows the Hobbit very well, there's that secret door, and they tried to kind of mimic that a little bit, or represent it, I should say. And you can go up there, and the enemy, I think the person inside the fortress can come out of there, but I'm not too sure. I think it's like a gate. In any case, he can come out, I believe, but you can't go in. So, that would have been a perfect spot to have my guys be teleported up to. But siege warfare in and of itself, I mean, that's the big exception to the rule, what I was just talking about. Most people are, obviously, they're going to have to know how to be patient and protect their siege. And in his case, he doesn't get to have the fortress upgrade to, what do you call it? Add fire upgrades to his catapults, which works out beautifully for my Ents here. But unfortunately, it's not going to matter that much. He's got such elite units, like those Iron Hills warriors, with the crossbows, the crossbowmen. They can pierce through armor. And normally archers, they don't do really anything to Ents, unless they're fire archers. But those Iron Hills crossbowmen, boy, they can look at Treebeard. He's a hero, and he's going down. So yeah, it's a trick still against Erebor. Erebor is such a tanky. It's such a tanky faction. It's hard to know what to do against them. when they have the ability to quickly get into the more elite units, and you're still stuck at your early game units and not know for sure how to expand and micromanage fast enough. It's a skill issue, I understand. I mean, in normal games, it's a different matter. In this, you know, to be perfectly honest, like I said in the intro, I was kind of caught up in conversation with him and caught up in the game as well. So perhaps going forward, I'll I'll have to make sure to keep the conversation more limited as we focus. It's so easy to cash float in this game. It really is. But at this point in the game, I decided that I would just say, screw it. I'm going to go for the elite units. I'm going to go for the March Wardens as fast as I could. Because he already had his elite units, and there's no chance that my units really stood any chance. So you'll see me start focusing much more heavily on upgrading my structures at this point. I'm still getting other units, trying to balance that out and not get too crazy with you know, panicking or anything like that, because he could rush me at any point, really, at this stage of the game, and really hand me my butt, if you will. It's a wild time. It's a wild time. I'm trying to also get heroes up while not spending too much money. And I know that defenses aren't going to do a whole lot, like arrow towers. I mean, Lothlorien has got some of the best defenses in the game, for sure. But up against those kinds of elite units, what do? They're very lightly armored, and maybe I could have put up walls. By the way, I'm not a person who is opposed to walls. And neither is my friend. You'll see in a later game that he walls me in pretty well when I'm in the fortress. That'll be, I think, in the next game that I release. But there's a place for him, I think, and I think that this would have been an ideal place, actually, if I could have afforded them a bit more. I think it would have helped me in the long run, because he would have had to take the time to get his own siege units, and that would have given me a lot more time to get my own economy rolling a lot more, to get heroic units, more heroes, etc. And I could have put my defenses behind, my arrow towers behind the walls. And Lothlorien, you know, for anyone who's not already in the know, this faction was actually designed even by even for people who do competitive PvP play to use walls. That's all part of the design. A lot of people, they get really in a huff about all of that. I've never really understood that personally. But, you know, when you do something like fortress battles, where everything is so unusual and asymmetrical, I think it's totally permissible. I mean, you're already hunkering down as it is. And it's a much more defensive-oriented kind of game. I don't see any particular reason why you shouldn't be able to use your walls as you would want to anyways, but especially not in these sorts of games, where it really is called for, and in particular by the faction that you're playing, by the designers themselves. I don't know, I've never understood it.
The land tells of both joy.
I've never understood the problem. And not to mention, in Age of the Ring, I know that it's not really a feature in vanilla Rise of the Witch King. I'm not sure how it is in vanilla BFME 2. It's been a long, long time since I've played that. But in Age of the Ring, one of the great features that they included in it is to be able to increase your siege engine range by hitting the D key. I cover that in one of my attribute modifier videos if you want to check that out, where I show you how in Age of the Ring you can actually increase your firing range enough that his wall catapults don't really make that much of a difference. You still got to protect your siege engines, of course, but it goes a long ways towards stopping someone who wants to kind of cheese the system a bit and use too many walls. So, just something to keep in mind. Now, Ents, as far as I remember, I don't think they get that ability. They get damage bonus instead, being monsters. But I don't think that they get increased range, which is a shame. But they've got their place as well. So things to consider for anyone out there who loves fortress battles and who wants to take these sorts of things seriously, that there are alternatives to play that a lot of people don't even know or really care about. There's a whole world of BFME out there that seems to have gone, honestly, completely by the wayside. So few people play any other way than the competitive that it's like, does anyone even know how to play these? And that might be why, at least as far as I can tell, there's not even one player out there who has ever done a recording of a Fortress PvP battle. It's a shame. It's a shame. It's kind of like custom heroes. And I know that's going to raise the ire of some people listening out there. I've never had a problem with custom heroes. I think they're a lot of fun. I don't use them as much as I would like to because, in part, people get their hackles raised. But I mean, yeah, they got some OP to them. But if the other player is using his own, it gets into some pretty interesting balancing territory. Especially considering that you can do so much with one and so much with another in a different way. You know, they all have their own strengths and weaknesses. I personally like to use mine in a much more unorthodox way. Some people, they get freaked out because of the high raw power, you know, big AoE effects, which is a legitimate concern in its own way. But I like to use mine in a much more unorthodox way in terms of like vision, map control, stealth. I love using the stealth stuff for some of the evil factions, the Easterling custom heroes, and using that in conjunction with very wide range vision range. Anyways, though, back to the game here. So you can see how he's doing a fine job at really defending this middle that I was trying to tell you about before, this little outpost there. He's got his Iron Hills warriors up there, which get a massive range boost. And those gates can be rebuilt, by the way. But it's perfect for your archers to be up there. You get your spearmen to go and protect, or whatever you got. So you took out my Ent there. I wasn't paying good enough attention. He's got his Vault Wardens. But I eventually make my way in there, and I just use my Ents to go squishing, as I call it. I love how you can use that feature with the Ents that just go flatten everyone down. Oh, he's got the I can't remember what they're called, those fire troops. And he eventually runs me off here. Oh no, it's not this one. No, it's later on down the line. Yeah, right here in a second. So I squish all of his troops in there, but then I gotta hightail it out, get Treebeard to use his special roar ability to increase the speed of my Ents, just to ensure that I don't get nubbed up there. Yeah, I use spellbook power once, I think, before the end of the game, to try to get some of my heroes out of here later on.
This world has grown perilous.
Such a hard balance, it really is. It's such a different style of play.
Our Talon blooms.
Lightly now.
The Talon has flowered.
My voice will awaken. Fair Lorinen speaks through me. We must tend all the ladies' realms.
We are come now to the edge of doom.
Galathan. Our structure has been completed.
This soil is rich with memory.
The banners have been woven.
Trees will come to grow here.
Our sanctuary grows. The Galathrin garrison is complete.
So at this point, I'm trying to get my my barracks a little bit closer. I can't, of course, get too close.
Soil is rich
As you
with
saw, I tried to
memory.
get the siege units up at the very front in those gates there. I was hoping and assuming that my AI ally might be able to come to my aid a little bit. This would have been great for having a human player to coordinate with. But as you saw, that didn't exactly happen. And then I start trying to build up some defenses up in this area as well.
We have revealed that
I was thinking about trying to creep my way up, but yeah.
the waters of the Nimrodel are flowing.
There's an interesting trick I hadn't thought about in this. I believe that what you can do to keep him from building in the middle, because he has one or two build plots in the middle in the city of Dale there, that what you can do, I believe, is keep one of your troops, one of your battalions, directly on top of the build plot. I might be wrong on that, but in any case, I believe that if you keep your troops on top of the build plot in question, that as soon as he tries to build something there, your troops just automatically destroy it.
Do not despise the law that has come down from distant
Because everything starts at 0% when you try to build anything. That, you know, they're super fragile.
Enemy has infiltrated our lands.
Haldir of Lord, this way. The time of the Eldar is fleeting.
We restored the sanctum to its former glory.
So at this point, I'm getting my heroes out pretty well now. But still trying to figure out a balance between early game units and my more elites. So that way it's a little bit more cost effective. Something kind of interesting, because this is my first time doing as an attacker role in a fortress map, I didn't realize this, that you can not actually build more than one fortress. I mean, I guess it's fine, you know. It would have been quite nice, obviously, to be able to get a fortress out on the front lines, but I understand it. You know, you don't want to be able to do too much. But I know in vanilla you can build several fortresses. In Rise of the Witch King, of course, you're limited to 5, which, I mean, who's going to be building 5 fortresses? There's some people out there crazy enough to do it, but anyways. Wow, gonna toast a ton of my guys there. He was smart.
Lothlorien will never fall into the hands of the enemy.
Yeah, this friend of mine that I was playing with, he absolutely loves siege maps. He's very good at it, as you can see. Dwarves are notoriously good at holding a siege and defending their own. And as you can see there, my AI ally is just melting under the power of the dwarves. Here I thought I had a nice army ready to rock and roll and finally take on his gates, and then I noticed, because I wasn't paying attention, oh look, he already went up to my ally and smoked him. man, I was not very pleased by that, to say the least. I thought that the ally would have been able to put up more of a fight with that many of its own troops in its own base. It wasn't doing anything. It was just defending itself, building a ton of troops. But what can men do against such reckless hate? it's almost unstoppable in a sense. But I mean, that's for the good factions playing up against the dwarves. At least in my experience, you really got to have an evil faction at your disposal that's well coordinated, like Mordor with all of its many debuffs. Oh, I heard him use the dragon. I was trying to come to my ally's aid here a little bit, help keep him in the game at least for a second longer, but nope, I had to flee for my life. I wasn't going to let my whole army get toasted. Look at how much money I have. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's so easy to cash flow in this. I'm trying to come to my allies' aid at the same time as micromanaging an army and trying to keep it going. That's a challenge. That's a challenge. Against an intelligent defender of a fortress. Again, I think I can be cut a little bit of slack because this is my first time doing an attacking role, and certainly my first time as an attacker against a human player inside the fortress. Never had that happen before, so very new experience. I'm trying to squish all of his units there, but even though they're not pikemen and I have my elites there, those are special elite units that come out of that pillar. And it's okay, so I do actually end up using some of my powers here at the beginning, but it really doesn't do a whole lot. But yeah, those elite units that come out of that special power there, they will rock your world. They will rock your world. I took out my Ents. I never really encountered them with Ents before.
Fair Lorinan speaks through me.
The Malon tree blossoms in fair Nifredil.
So yeah, here I am trying to set up a forward outpost, thinking that I might be able to get at least a leg up on this guy. He's taking out my ally, more or less. I don't even realize that he's still got units over there. I thought that I had saved my own army and stopped his, but he's got a couple of his heroes just wrecking the rest of my my allies' base. Yeah, kind of a noob in that regard. How much money I have. It was a great game, but dang, man. And look at him, he's sniping me from there with Bard. Amazing. Yeah, the next time I play on this map with Lothlorien, I'm definitely going to be keeping a better eye on my my Haldir for his teleportation.
The structure has been expanded.
Hear my
That gate is
voice.
just way too strong. I don't know if any other gate in the game has that kind of armor. And here at this point, I'm thinking, well, maybe if I can use my cavalry. I don't know what I was thinking there, because he keeps using the same units over and over, which is the Iron Hills Guards, and also a lot of the Vault Wardens. So my cavalry would not do well at all. I was thinking of it in terms of like trying to focus down his crossbowmen. Of course, I can't really level up my heroes because they have all that armor piercing capability. Both the Iron Hills Guards do and their crossbowmen counterparts. Makes for some ugly, ugly battles. In a sense, you kind of have to just avoid those battles if you can, but I mean, if you're going to be laying siege to their their gates, you got to protect your ends too. So it's like, well, what do?
Do not be afraid.
You can't just run around in a tiny little space like that. What I had forgotten about as well, what would have won the battle for me right here that you just saw was Galadriel's initial power, her ability. It's like Farsight from the vanilla game, but it also has the major bonus of taking away the enemy's leaderships. And I don't quite remember if he had any heroes right in that specific battle, but if he did, that would have helped me considerably, even against the armor-piercing capabilities of those dwarves.
This malon brandishes its roots.
The Lady of Light has summoned you.
The enemy is not yet vanquished.
Remember the things that were.
Again, powers that I just typically don't use, I usually play up against AI is what it is. For anyone who has followed the channel with any degree of seriousness, you know, I'm not much of a PvP person, and I just don't have the time to play PvP. I like it, although there's so many players out there that are, you know, worlds ahead of me that, you know, getting in a serious game is all but impossible on my end. It's, you know, you got to be good against a lot of the people out there, and I guess maybe I could make my own Discord server or something like that, or join someone else's that has the same kind of relative skill level as myself, but just don't have the time. But anyways, so yeah, that's one of those abilities that I almost never use in my own games, is Galadriel's leadership debuff, even if I use it as a Farsight power. So I'm furiously trying to, you know, keep my army going, thinking that I could try to at least stay in the range of my defenses, buff them with the
countless choirs.
what you call them that you can put on the Malorn trees there that act like heroic statues.
Long have we withstood the enemy's assault.
So the great thing of me having so much money, you know, I can quickly amass a huge army, but I would have been able to do it a lot faster if I had remembered to place down the
We will protect our borders.
what you call it, the Mirror of Galadriel. Would have been able to keep these guys going a lot faster.
The Galadrim are at your command.
My blade does not hesitate. Harden your hearts.
And here he comes. I thought that I had a lot more time. I did not.
Long have we withstood the enemy's assault.
Doesn't really do much to more elite units like what I've got.
We remember the things that were.
There is much to do. The time of the Eldar is fleeting.
So obviously I am quite thoroughly on the defensive at this point, and it's just a losing battle, even with a sturdy base like what I've got. Got a massive army. My problem is that I didn't have enough spellbook powers, or power points. He had been rocking my allies' world, rocking my world this whole time. So naturally he's got, you know, basically everything that he needs. I think it would have still helped a lot more if I had remembered to use Galadriel's leadership debuff at this point.
Something moves in the shadows.
Became legend.
The enemy is not yet vanquished.
The March Wardens will heed their lord's call. Now, shoot them!
The end is near.
This cannot be war. They have begun their assault. Is no more. Don't let them destroy our structures.
Yeah, when those two dwarves here, and I think I can try to get my cavalry to take them out. Look at this.
The great tree has fallen.
This is what I mean when I'm not used to playing, when I say I'm not used to playing PvP. I don't realize just how strong some of these dwarves, dwarves, yeah, they're nuts. These dwarven heroes are just too much for me. Even with Galadriel nearby to debuff them, they wouldn't have done that
Will
much.
heed their lord's call.
King Amalek is not forgotten.
Stay vigilant.
So yeah, obviously at this point, the battle's completely lost. I have no hope,
Come from Karas Galadhar.
even with so much money at my disposal and still producing troops. He's just got too many power points. He summoned the dragon on me, and he's about ready to summon Durin in a second.
Now, shoot them! Galadhrim are at your command. My captain has these orders. The March Wardens will heed their lord's call. Galadhrim are at your command.
Here he is.
Amalek's knights.
We must save
The March Wardens will heed their lord's call.
The enemy is not yet vanquished. Not only mano. Amalek's knights will see it done.
Stay vigilant.
So yes, lesson learned. Trying to lay siege to the dwarves in their own home, not a good idea. These guys are a tough nut to crack, for real. But next time, like I said before, Haldir will give them a nasty surprise.
Back away now.
Now, shoot them! Eyes in the forest! Move into the trees!
Here I am thinking I might be able to at least take out Durin before the game's end. Again, tough nut to crack.
Our lady's domain.
But I can't even get that minor victory under my belt.
Save this place! We stand
Oh well.
None make into the golden wood. Galadriel, show them no mercy. Regroup.
Stay vigilant.
Fight to the last man.
By paths unseen.
Mama didn't raise no quitter.
Galadriel, to arms!
Hear my voice.
Protect these lands. We must not let him win this war.
And that's when I realized you can't build more than one fortress, period. I thought, well, maybe if I can at least build a fortress somewhere else, they'll have a little bit of a harder time finding me.
The golden wood.
But no, you only get one fortress, period. Something tells me that's probably a bug, or at least not an intentional design. You should at least be able to build one more fortress if you've lost yours. Do I get him? I don't think I do.
Settlement is under attack.
No. Man. I get one last stun for what it's worth. I don't think even that did anything. Yep. It was an interesting game for sure. But a good one. But a good one. So that's about it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this first Fortress battle PvP style. And I look forward to doing some more. Bye!